What's up, everybody? Welcome to another late night Wednesday review, but my day is Thursday, so let's get to it. Welcome to Asian Horror Week. I chose to go with an animated title. I went with Vampire Hunter D: Bloodlust. That's the second movie from the Vampire Hunter D franchise. The first one was released back in 1985, and then 15 years later they released Bloodlust. I still have never read any of the manga titles, and I still haven't seen the first movie, but I thought, well, let's go ahead and check out Bloodlust. And if you just watch this one and not the original, or not the first one, you'll be able to follow along just fine. You won't be lost or anything. They kind of set it up real good so you understand what's going on. You know, I had just no idea about this character at all, but at the core of this story of Bloodlust, it really is a taboo love story. You know, among all of the violence and the, you know, great scenery, at the core, it really is a taboo love story. So let's get into it. We learn that this story takes place way, way, way in the future, like 12,000 years down the line, and it's pretty much a post-apocalyptic world. But this world that the characters are living in, the life forms that have come out on top are vampires. The vampires have been kind of ruling everything. They've been ruling the night. They've been feeding on just regular people, non-vampires. But their numbers are starting to dwindle a little bit. And now people are putting bounties on vampires' heads. So a lot of a lot of bounty hunters are now in demand. At the beginning of the movie, we see a young woman, and I believe her name was Charlotte. She was kidnapped by, like, the highest muckety-muck vampire. Her father and her brother find out about it. They're very distraught, and they hire two bounty hunters. One is a set of brothers, but it's really like a kind of a caravan of like 5 or 6 bounty hunters. And then the other one is Vampire Hunter D. And he's kind of the badass bounty hunter around. Everyone is very curious about him. They kind of respect him. They know he's real good. And they pay crazy money to these bounty hunters. What makes Vampire Hunter D stand out is that he is a Dunpeel. Am I saying that right? Yeah, Dunpeel. He's half vampire, half human. And he is kind of a torn character. He's usually pretty quiet, doesn't show much emotion. He's torn because he has chosen to go against his vampire side and hunt down the vampires. And that's a struggle within him, you can tell. Now, he's joined, oddly enough, and I don't know the backstory to this, he has like a face on the palm of his hand that talks to him and gives him advice, and he, like, you know, shows him where to go, and he does like odd things. You know, he can like suck in souls and stuff like that. They didn't explain that too well, but I'm sure if you're a fan of the manga series, you understand what that's all about. But he's kind of the Hans character is kind of like sassy a little bit and persnickety, so that balances out the two of them. So really the bulk of this movie are the two bounty hunters, the two sets of bounty hunters going after this girl because they want the young woman. The father wants the young woman either, you know, dead or alive. He just wants her back home. So whether she's been bitten or not or dead, he just wants her back. Well, they finally catch up to the girl because she's with this, you know, old ass vampire. He's kind of like the king of them. And they find out that she wants to stay with him. She's fallen in love with him. She doesn't want to go back home. And the bounty hunters really aren't having it. They're like, no, they're paying us millions of dollars. You're going to come home. Anyways, you know, she remains with the vampire. And at, you know, towards the end of the movie, there's a great battle. You know, because this whole time they're fighting different creatures. There's a werewolf character. There's other vampires who are protecting the elder vampire, so he can, you know, get along with his business. Because ultimately, the older vampire and Charlotte are heading towards this castle where there's a huge rocket ship. And the rocket ship, this was really interesting. The rocket ship, I guess, has been known to the vampires, will take them to this place where no one will disturb them. I guess it's like a planet or a place of nothing but like darkness and stars and moons, and no one will bug them, no one will question their love, no one will hunt after them. They'll be at peace, which was really interesting. You know, here's a vampire and a non-vampire woman, which is considered, like I mentioned earlier, like a taboo love in this current society, and they want to get somewhere where they will be accepted, where no one will harm them. You know, at the end of the movie, one of the characters kind of has a change of heart and really respects the love that they have for each other. There's a great battle scene at the end between Vampire Hunter D and well, a couple of characters actually. But it was really interesting. Like, I didn't know what to expect from this. But it was very good. The animation was good. The scenery was great. Just the whole atmosphere of, you know, what the future would look like in this world. Now, the Vampire Hunter D character, honestly, before I knew anything about this, I thought was a girl. Because he has really long, kind of dark hair, and it flows, and he kind of wears that hat. But it's a guy, and he's a good guy. He's a cool vampire hunter. And the other set of bounty hunters, they were good people too. They were kind of trying to do the right thing. But overall, it was very enjoyable. It really was. I thought you were interested in the characters. You know, the outcome of what happened to them. I wish there was a little bit more backstory on Vampire Hunter D, but there was enough there so you could follow along and understand it, and then ultimately, you know, care about his character. But yeah, I mean, that's really, there were a couple scenes that I thought looked really fantastic. There was one where, because one of the bounty hunters has a bow and arrow, or kind of like actually a crossbow, and he fills this thing with a gajillion arrows. And there's a scene, it's a nighttime scene, where it's just like raining arrows on all of these vampires. It really is. It's a beautiful animated scene. It looks great. But I highly recommend the Bloodlust, Vampire Hunter D Bloodlust. It's entertaining. I'm very curious. I want to go check out the first movie from back in '85. That'll be fun to check out that story and the earlier animation. The animated features, these are not for kids. There is blood, there's violence, there's adult themes. You know, you get a couple like lady nipple shots. So it's definitely not for kids. I mean, is this full out horror? Not full out, but there are horror elements to it. But you know, it's not like there's any jump scares or anything like that. Just overall, it's a cool story. It's very neat. So you know, check it out. I do recommend it. It was very entertaining. So that's it for this week for me. Please check out everyone else for Asian Horror Week. Next week, I believe, is Evil Dead Week. To celebrate the new Evil Dead movie coming out. we're all going to be reviewing Evil Dead, or one of the Evil Dead movies in the series. So, yes, and I will be reviewing Evil Dead for the first time. I've never seen it. So I'm very, very excited about that. So take care, everybody, and I will see you next week.